and the Fan app and the Game Nashville Sports Network.
For more, log on to thegamenashville.com. Your sports live here on the Game Nashville Sports Network.
Your sports live here. WBUZ HD3 Laverne. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network. ESPN 94.9. The Fan.
30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee. It's the George Plaster Show, featuring Tennessee Sports Hall of Famers Kelly Holcomb and young gun Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in. It is a Monday afternoon, and the Traveling Road Show is at Old Hickory Country Club, where I participated in a golf tournament earlier today and wore this visor that Kelly had a problem with. Kelly Holcomb, by the way, honored as the Distinguished American by correspondent Pogu. Let's bring Kelly up.
George, when you had that cap on, I've never seen you in a cap, and I told Billy, and you heard me, you look like the average wall marker with that thing on. Mall walker. Yeah, mall walker. Good gracious, I can't talk today. Good gracious.
Trouble talking. So tell us about the award.
I don't even know what you're talking about, George. I was on his radio station the other day. I guess I was a prep legend, but, he started it off talking about how you two clowns were making fun of me, and I told him, I said, well, George has no room to talk because George's been fired by every radio station east of the Mississippi. And I said, Billy can't even show up to a remote on time. So what are these two guys talking about?
Now, hold on a second. Did you not show up at the Fordyce Center in Antioch once?
But I wasn't on air. I wasn't going on air. We were just doing a commercial.
If we had not adjusted some things, you would have been.
Correct. I mean, I got there, though, didn't I?
So did you get a plaque, a trophy? I mean, what did you get? A certificate?
I just got a that, babe. We'll talk to you later.
Best wishes for 2026.
Correct.
Okay. So a good time was had by all.
Absolutely. Yeah. We got to talk about you a little bit and talk about Billy a little bit. And then, then it turned to prep football, which is coming up this week, which I'm excited about.
So much so that you won't be on Friday.
Well, I mean, I told y'all, I go see my mother every Friday. So just relax.
I'm for that.
Thank you.
This is turning into the Kelly roast session.
This is good stuff early. We got a good show for you, even if you don't believe that. We do. Billy, do you have an update with any level of substance?
I do. Are we doing my update before Terry's?
Oh, that's right. We do need to get to Terry.
We do.
Terry, my suspicion will be this week's award winner.
Prep legend.
Terry, how are you?
Doing well. I'm not sure what I'm a legend at, but I'll take it.
So you were in St. Louis to watch your Yankees.
I was.
They got the broom out.
They did. They rallied from a 5-2 deficit in the game that we were at. Saw Ben Rice knock in 7 runs, by the way. Here's an interesting stat for you. The Yankees probably should hire Connor and I to attend as many games as possible. Because over the years since I've been taking him to go watch the Yankees at various places. Now, this does not count times when my wife, Krista, accompanies us. Because when the three of us are together, they're 0-4 all time.
Oh, wow.
Connor and I are 9-0 when watching the Yankees together.
Connor, as many of you know, is referred to as the child.
Yes, but he's no longer going to be the child. I don't know if I told you guys this or not. He's engaged.
Oh, my God.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, my Lord.
So
does she know what she's getting into?
Probably not.
Okay. So y'all had a good time in St. Louis. They weren't anywhere close to sold out, were they?
No, not at all. Not at all. And a buddy of mine who covers the Cardinals, I spoke with him, and he said that the fans just don't turn out anymore in St. Louis like they used to because it's such a subpar product these days that the Cardinal farm system is just dried up.
At times, it's been the best baseball city in America, but these days, man, a ton of empty seats at Busch Stadium. So let's get to the Titans because that's where the first hour of the show is going. Injury-wise, how did they come out of Atlanta?
Seemed okay. The one scare was Dan Moore, but he was back out there practicing today. There also, George, was a rumor making the rounds that L'Jarius Sneed was about to be activated from PUP, possibly as early as today. In fact, I'm going to check and see if that move has been made while we're here on the air. It's going to be good radio, George.
So, as you look for that, has there been that level of improvement?
In terms of just what? In terms of what?
His ability to get out on the field.
I don't know. We haven't seen him. We've seen him work on the side a little bit, but we haven't seen a lot. There is no notice saying that he's been activated from PUP. So that apparently did not happen, even though it was rumored that it might. The thing with this Titans team right now, you ask about the injuries. They're pretty healthy. The thing is, they've got to try and, start getting some things to flesh out and mesh together because they still don't really look in sync to me. And then maybe that's just a talent gap between them and some of the other teams. But it still seems to be a lot of, not quite in sync in these joint practices and at times against the Falcons.
It appears that Cam Ward is the least of their problems.
Yeah. I think, overall, yes, there have been a lot of interceptions and whatnot in practice, but putting that aside, because sometimes practice, just kind of is what it is. And you might try a throw in practice that you wouldn't try in the game just to see if you can get away with it. But from the results we've seen from him in the first two preseason games, granted it's going against second teamers from both the Bucs and the Falcons, but he does appear to have a pretty decent pocket presence and pretty good command of what he wants to do. His stat line didn't look very good against the Falcons. He was only 2 of 7 for 42 yards, but Van Jefferson didn't do him any favors either. He probably should have caught that ball that was deep on that deep post that when he laid it in there between two defenders. That was a pretty good looking ball. And you'd like to see a veteran receiver go and make a play for his rookie quarterback.
Van Jefferson less than 50-50 to make this team?
Probably makes the team, but I think it's a situation where they would love to phase Alec Eilmanner in and have Van Jefferson be a 4th or 5th receiver rather than have to be a 2nd or 3rd receiver.
Okay, we'll stop it there. It's the Vikings on Friday night in the one home preseason games, which means they get 9 home regular season games in 2025-26. Terry, as always, thank you.
No problem. Have a good one.
Terry McCormick, Main Street Media and TitanInsider.com, joining us on the show. Billy, take it away.
Here we go. Time for today's update brought to you by Football Night in Nashville. Getting a little bit closer out at Sports and Social in Green Hills. Join us Thursday, September the 4th, as the Cowboys travel to Philadelphia for the Thursday night football opener this season. Again, September the 4th, Cowboys and Philly at Sports and Social. Well, got all kinds of court battles being finalized, and a lot of these aren't battles per se, but the coaches want to perceive them as battles. Joey Aguilar has been named the starter at Tennessee. Aguilar will lead the offense on the field when Tennessee opens their season against Syracuse. He hasn't had much of a chance to establish chemistry, obviously, with Tennessee's receivers. Braylon Staley, Chris Brazzell, and Mike Matthews all missed different amounts of time during fall camp. So we will see what we get out of Joey Aguilar, but he is Tennessee's starting quarterback.
Kelly, I think it would have been a major upset for it to be anything but that.
Absolutely. It's like the NFL, George, right now. He's getting paid the money. They brought him in to play. That's why they brought him here. He's got a lot of experience, although not in the SEC, but they paid him a lot of money, and he's going to play. That's what Tony Basilio's talked about. I know we had Chris Doring on, and he said that he didn't think that it was a done deal, but the money dictates a done deal. I mean, you got to give him a chance. You got to at least let him go out there, and he's got to fall on his face. But when you're paying him that money that you paid him, he's going to start.
Absolutely.
Opposite of Aguilar will be Steve Angeli for Syracuse, former Notre Dame backup. He narrowly beat out Ricky Collins, who transferred from LSU, who apparently played well during fall camp. Angeli played in 21 games at Notre Dame. He started Notre Dame's blowout win over Oregon State in the Sun Bowl back in 2023. And his biggest career moment with the Irish came in their playoff game against Penn State when he completed 6 of 7 passes on a big scoring drive to end the first half. So he doesn't have a ton of playing experience, obviously, as a starter, but he can do some things. And if you're Syracuse, he's going to have to do a lot if you want to beat Tennessee.
They had an incredible year from Kyle McCord. They've got to be hard pressed to believe they can get anywhere near that kind of production. So a little more pressure on their defense to come up big, because there is no Kyle McCord on campus.
Right. Well, there is a Julian Sayin on campus at Ohio State in Columbus. Ryan Day has named him the starting quarterback for their season opener against Texas in Columbus. Day said that Sayin won a close competition against Lincoln Keenholz, but separated himself over the last week with his consistent play. Sayin was a highly touted recruit, number 9 recruit in the country. He was the top prospect coming out of California back in 2024. And if you remember, he signed with Alabama, committed to Nick Saban, but then Saban leaves. He goes to Ohio State. So Julian Sayin will get the ball for Ohio State against Texas, going up against Arch Manning.
Yeah, I'm just saying this has got trouble written on it.
It does. It does. We just haven't seen him. Again, it's like a lot of quarterbacks around the country. You haven't seen a ton of Arch Manning. All around the SEC, there's unproven guys, and that's what you've got at Ohio State as well. Up to the NFL, though, the Browns have named Joe Flacco their Week 1 starter against the Bengals. He's entering, I didn't realize this, his 18th year in the NFL. He will also start their preseason finale against the Rams at home on Saturday. Stefanski said he would treat that as a dress rehearsal for the regular season. Their opener, of course, against the Bengals, that'll be in Cleveland. He didn't play in the first couple of preseason games, but he'll get some work in this next one, and we've talked about it. Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, Shadur Sanders, and Flacco were all battling, but injuries and Flacco taking most of the reps in the first team. I think we knew what was going to happen, at least at the top with the starter, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens behind him.
Kelly, this feels like Kenny Pickett's going to be the odd man out. And if he is, Titans need to pounce.
I don't know, George. You never know what they're thinking, but I agree with you. Kenny Pickett is probably going to be the man out, because if Joe Flacco goes in, he's been around for a long time. He's an experienced guy. He can come in and fill the void for a little bit, but you got 2 younger guys, and Kenny Pickett's already played, and he's kind of shown that I don't know if he can be that guy as a starter, but he can be a quality backup. So I think he is the odd man out, and you never know what these guys are thinking down here. I thought. Brandon Allen, he's turned the ball over. He turned the ball over the other night, although I don't think it was his fault on that one. I'm sure we'll talk about that. But I don't know. Maybe they're looking, maybe they're not.
We'll find out soon.
Elsewhere in the NFL, we've talked a little bit about Jordan Love and Matthew Stafford. Both of them were back at practice today. Love, just 6 days after he had surgery on his left thumb, was back today. He took part in everything outside of 11-on-11 drills, and he had his thumb wrapped at the start of practice, and then it started raining. He had a plastic bag covering his entire non-throwing hand. So Jordan Love back, not full speed, but probably good news there for the Packers that he's back. Also, Matthew Stafford practices for the first time today. He had been out because of an aggravated disc in his back, and other than throwing passes in a workout 2 weeks ago, he hadn't practiced with the team. He took part in the whole practice, starting with individuals and then progressing to full team drills. So
the whole league is watching this one, because the Rams feel like the team that has the best chance to basically hop over the Eagles in the NFC. Without Matthew Stafford, Jimmy Garoppolo is their backup. Kelly, I like it a lot better if it's Matthew Stafford.
I do too, but Jimmy Garoppolo's played some good ball as well. He hadn't played in a while, but he's never really been consistent. I think that's the problem with him. But he's a capable backup, and if he's got a good team around him, you never know what's going to happen. And he could. I'm with you, George. I think it would obviously be a lot better with Matthew Stafford, but he's got to get healthy.
I want to get to this story. Back to the college ranks. Coach Ed Orgeron joined a podcast. Pardon my take. This is under the Barstool Sports name, so maybe take this with a grain of salt. But he was asked about getting back into coaching potentially, and he said, I think it's time. I'm feeling that itch again. I'm feeling it a little bit. I haven't made the decision totally. I've got my boys settled, coaching football now. It's been 4 years since I've been out. I'm getting the itch again. We could see Coach O back in the game.
Well, people that know him say he's a really good recruiter. Whatever language he's talking, players appear to buy into, at least at the beginning. He won a national title with LSU.
He also had Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and generational talents. We saw it come to a crashing halt just that next year.
Yeah. It wasn't long after.
No. Also, Cam Newton is getting his jersey retired by Auburn on October the 11th at Jordan-Hare Stadium. His 2010 season, you go back and look at that. Heisman Trophy winner, national champion, consensus All-American. He earned that.
Kelly, you talk about a guy that put a team on his back. It's Cam Newton.
And really where you start, like, he came back against Alabama. Alabama was beating him pretty good, and he brought those guys back in the second half. And that's when you thought, like, this dude right here, he's a specimen anyways. His physique is unbelievable, but when he brought those guys back in that game, man, you kind of had to open your eyes and say, hey, this guy's for real.
Yeah.
Okay, we done?
Yep.
Okay, after the break, we're going to get into what the Titans showed us Friday in Atlanta. The final score was 23-20, and on both sides, there are some future bartenders.
That was evident.
By the way, last night, Buffalo started an entire team of future bartenders.
And I'm gonna admit something after the break that you guys might laugh about.
Okay, good. This is 94.9, The Fan.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
A golf cart from Mikey's Motors is the perfect way to get around this summer. Whether you're going to the park, the pool, or the playground, do it in a brand new golf cart from Mikey's Motors, Franklin and Murfreesboro.
Summertime fun in Tennessee. That's what we sell at Mikey's Motors. Come see how we roll.
It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me. The Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling. They enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonleyTimmons.com.
At Wilson Bank and Trust, we believe you shouldn't have to choose between personal service and digital solutions. As your local independent bank, we're proud to offer the relationships and trusted service you expect, along with the tools and technology that keep you moving forward. So whether you're growing a business, buying a home, or planning for the future, we're here to help. Because this isn't just where we work, it's where we live too. Wilson Bank and Trust, here to get you there. Member FDIC.
Are you looking for expert medical care in Nashville without leaving your home? Medical House Calls brings concierge-level health care directly to your door. Whether you need urgent attention, ongoing primary care, revitalizing IV therapy, or medically guided weight loss, our experienced providers are just a phone call away at 615-838-2375 or go online, medicalhousecalls.com. We are Country Club, which, by the way, is beautiful. Man, what they have done in upgrades to this place is very impressive. Golf course was immaculate. My game was not.
I've always thought, when do you play better on a nicer course?
Oh, I don't think it matters.
Does that affect you, Kelly?
It doesn't affect George, I can tell you that. No, here's the deal. You still got to, it's the most difficult sport I've ever played. It's amazing that the ball is standing still and it's as hard as it is. So that's what makes those guys on Thursday through Sunday do what they do as professionals. That's what makes me just sit there in awe and watch those guys, because it doesn't matter if it's an easy course or a hard course. You still got to hit the ball and you got to put it in the hole.
By the way, I know we're talking Titans, but did you see what Scotty Scheffler did yesterday?
Oh,
he is
absolutely
world's number one by a bunch.
I keep telling people, if he keeps doing this, numbers wise,
he's getting into some rarefied air.
I mean, look out.
Yeah. So, Kelly, let's start on Friday night in Atlanta. The stat line for Cam Ward to me was misleading. As you'll see here, 2 of 7, 42 yards in the 3 series that he played. I wasn't all that disappointed. I kind of like some things I saw in him.
Yeah, I wasn't disappointed at all. He didn't have Calvin, he didn't have Calvin Ridley out there. He didn't have Tyler Lockett. Those are the guys that are going to be playing in the first game. So he had some guys out there that he's probably not used to. Maybe that was the point of not having Calvin Ridley out there with him. Maybe they wanted to get some of these younger guys in there with him. But, Terry talked about it, and he had that pass drop kind of by Van Jefferson, and I liked it. I liked his when he got out of the pocket on that first big pass that he had for 35 yards. He's not a statue in the pocket, but I've told you all this. He's not a guy that is looking to run. He's a guy that's looking to buy some time to throw the football. He probably could have took off running there, but I liked his composure, and I don't think there's anything to be upset about. I like what he did, and I think when you look at it, George, I think coaches are looking at it. He's playing with different guys. He looks like he commands the huddle. He was getting in and out of the huddle. He's kind of got an eye, which you find that now in college you have an eye for the play clock. You got to have that eye on the play clock, and you didn't have any of those procedural deals. I thought it looked I thought it was much more consistent. I know that Terry talked about, they just can't get in the groove, but they're playing so many guys now and filtering so many guys in and out. It's hard to get some continuity there. And I know I talk about continuity all the time, but that's really what you're looking for. But when you're playing with different guys, and I was thinking about this earlier, there were guys that I played with the Browns and other places that I just could not connect with. Like they would do something at the top of the route, and I would always lead them wrong. It was all now. It didn't happen much. It was always one or two guys though that I had trouble with, and sometimes in games like that, when you're playing with different guys, sometimes that happens. But I thought he did fine, man. I just he's going to have ups and downs. We've talked about that as rookies. You're going to have games that you just like, man, because it's a difference when you get to the National Football League and the experience that you got to have. And when you're a rookie, there's so many things going on, and there's so many more things that you're responsible for in the NFL than you are in college. And it takes time getting used to that, George. It really does.
So, Kelly, one thing that's apparent with Cam Ward, and this is going to end up being really good and maybe really bad. He's got a fastball. His number one, when he puts something behind it, it's a heater. Now, I think the flip side of it is I think from time to time it's going to get him into trouble as he decides to challenge with that big arm.
Yeah, I'm with you. He can throw it. He's a big kid. I didn't realize when he was at Washington State and when he went to Miami, I didn't, because you don't see him all that much. You see him a little bit, but like I didn't realize how big of a kid he is. But he can once he puts his feet back and he gets all his momentum going forward, he throws that ball. He can. That reminds me so much of Brett Favre. Like when Brett Favre, when he reared back and threw it, man, he could throw it. He could throw it through a wall. He didn't do that much because he was more of a touch guy. But there's guys that are like that, and it can get you in trouble because that's the thing that I brought Brett Favre up for, is because everybody says he was a gunslinger, and a gunslinger mentality sometimes can get you in trouble because you think you can make throws, and in college you could make those throws, but when you get to the National Football League, those windows and those gaps that you're throwing through, they can become very small. And sometimes you think you can get it in there, and in the NFL, sometimes you get burnt by that. So, yeah, I mean, it's one of those deals, George. I just said it. He's going to have some ups and downs this first year. But, hey, you got to see what you can. And Terry said this when he was talking about it. And I remember a coach specifically coming into our quarterback room and saying, hey, here's the deal, guys. Like, don't just take check downs and don't just do this. Like, see what you can do. See if you can throw it in some windows. Well, that's all good and stuff when you're competing. But if you start holding that against me, I'll throw it in windows that you want me to throw it in. I'll try to see if I can do it. But if you're going to hold it against me to get picked off, that's not a good thing. But Cam Ward's, he's the guy. And when he goes to practice, he needs to try some of that stuff to see if he can get him in certain holes. But in games, you got to be careful with the football.
So, Kelly, Minnesota comes to town on Friday, and this may be me talking out of both sides of my mouth because on one hand, I really haven't understood why they've only played him a couple of series in the preseason opener in Tampa and then 3 series last week against Atlanta. But I'm going to ask the question for the purposes of safety. Do you hold him out against the Vikings so that for sure he's starting in the season opener?
I think he's got to get some work. I think that's where, because usually the last preseason game, when I played, there were 4 preseason games, and the starters, it was kind of a deal where the coaches talked. It was a handshake deal where the starters played the first series of into the third quarter. Now, since there's 3 preseason games and nobody's playing anybody, it wouldn't surprise me if they held him out. But I still think you got to go in there. And anytime he gets an opportunity to go out there on that field and get some experience, I think you have to put him out there before the game. And I just think he should play. I really do. Now, how much you play him, I don't know. But you need to play all the starters a little bit. I don't think they'll play much, but I think they all need to play just to get lathered up a little bit, as Coach Donnelly used to say, and to get out there on the field and feel all that. But Man, George, it's so hard for me, and I've said this over and over. It's so hard for me to watch these preseason games now because nobody's playing, and coaches coach scared. They do not want their guys to get hurt. They do not want the quarterback, who is the franchise player, to get hurt. So I don't know what you do about it, George. You get more work. I've said it before. You get more work in all these joint practices that they have instead of preseason games now. We used to have those joint practices, but preseason was important to guys too. The starters played, and it was incrementally different. Once you went through the preseason, you would play a little bit more, and then, you would play a bunch in the fourth preseason game. But I don't know how they're going to do it. It wouldn't surprise me if he didn't play, but I think he should.
Okay, against the Vikings, we know that Brian Flores, the defensive coordinator of the Vikings, in between court dates, will come up with some really exotic stuff. That was kind of a little shot there.
Yes.
If you're Brian Callahan, do you ask the Vikings to show him the kitchen sink?
I don't know if they do that, George. I mean, they may. I just don't think that in the preseason, people are not really game planning for the preseason. Like maybe this last game, I don't remember ever doing that. We just went out and played football, and we were actually thinking about. We started doing walkthroughs for the first game of the year. So, and I know that they got 3 preseason games now, and they got that extra time, but. I don't know if you do that. I don't think they would. I think you just go out and play. You don't game plan. He's going to call some of the stuff that he's always called. They may talk about that, George. I really don't know, which they could, but I don't know. Yeah, if you're Brian Callahan, you would like to see him get the kitchen sink thrown at him, but that's another deal where if they are, that's just some more opportunities for him to get hurt if they miss some blocks up front with the line, if the communication up front's not right, if you bring a lot of blitzes, if you bring like corner cats and stuff like that. Normally people don't show stuff like that in the preseason. You're going to get that in the first game of the year, and you just don't see that stuff.
Okay, hear me out on this. I believe that last night might have been a watershed moment as far as getting rid of some of this preseason crap. Fox wasted 3 hours of their network television time last night with a game involving Buffalo and Chicago. And if any of you saw it, Chicago played to kind of win. Caleb Williams from the beginning going all out, throwing it down the field. Buffalo using future bartenders. Couldn't have cared less. Looked like most of it was third team. The game was a complete joke, 38-0. My guess is that the Fox people today were up the NFL's butt saying, really? We're paying major league dollars for this kind of crap? Kelly, I think last night ultimately will be the start of the NFL saying, okay, you're right, this is a joke, so let's cut back on preseason and go after the Players Association with the 18th game.
Yeah, I agree with that, George. It's becoming like, even when I was younger, like preseason games, I don't know how a fan goes to the game and sits out in the hot sun and watches that stuff. I don't understand it. It's gotten to be a joke. It's kind of, the preseason's kind of gotten like the NBA All-Star game. It's just a joke where you're scoring all these points. There's no defense being played. Well, nobody's playing in the preseason. And I don't know what you're getting out of it right now. And you're right, George. Like, they've put all this money into it, and nobody's playing, and I can't see anybody watching the games. I really can't. So there's a problem there, and I don't know what you do about it. Like, they're getting more out of these joint practices, but I can't watch preseason. I sit there. I tried to watch Cam Ward a little bit, but then after that, man, I cannot watch it because it's so frustrating to me. And hey, I used to be one of those bartenders, George. So you need to relax on that. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
but I understand where you're going with it, because you're getting guys, and Josh Allen's not going to play. All their starters are not going to play. The Deion Dawkins kid's not going to play. They're tight ends are not going to play because they already know what they can do. So you're just
Buffalo
trying to
plays
get
nobody.
through this. Yeah, you're just trying to get through this without any injuries. And I don't know what the answer is, but they need to come up with something because it's becoming just unwatchable.
Wouldn't a rebuttal be that these young guys, we got to find out what we have in these young players? Or does that matter anymore?
To me, Buffalo, and this is where if you bet preseason, you got to be really careful to figure out what team cares and what team didn't. And last night, the Bills couldn't have cared less. And it was embarrassing. And I'm sure Fox is pissed because they're paying good money and they're using 3 hours of network time to show that. I bet the calls between Fox and New York today were a dime a dozen. I bet they're pissed.
Billy, here's the thing, man. When they go into camp, they know for the most part who's going to be on the team. Now you're going to get maybe two surprises out of a free agent or guys like that. That's all you're going to get. Most of those guys are camp guys. They're just there to kind of, hey, if we got him and we like him and we cut him and somebody gets injured during the season, maybe we can bring him back. But for the most part, they know the majority, like 99% of their team, who's going to come, who's going to be on the team at that point. And I don't know. I don't know where you go with all that, George. I really don't. But like it goes back to the Dallas Cowboys back in the day when Jimmy Johnson and those guys were winning those Super Bowls. They went 0-4 every year in the preseason because they couldn't care less about it. They just practiced and they went out and they threw everybody out there who was going to not play on Sundays for them for real. And they went 0-4 and they didn't care because they won 3 out of 4 Super Bowls. So it didn't really matter to them. And that's just kind of how preseason's gotten to be a joke. It was a joke back then, but it's even worse now.
All right, then let's get these preseason games out of here.
38-0, the Bears last night. And you know as well as I do, when you stack those teams up, Buffalo's the better football team. But last night, couldn't have cared less. After the break, the good and the bad of what the Titans are at this moment. This is 94.9, The Fan.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
This is my buddy Stan Harrison from Apple Collision Centers. Recently, you've been talking to me about companies that have a fleet of trucks and they're always in need of repairs.
That's right, George. We understand that nobody likes to deal with the auto body repair process. We try to simplify that at our 3 convenient locations. We work with all major insurance companies. We help to ease the stress of the auto body repair process. We're located in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. If you need our services, please stop by and see us.
And how convenient that we have that in the background. Now, seriously, these are good folks. They do really good work. Give them a holler.
Hello, I got places to be. Like me next to you, and you next to me, and you next to me. And you next to me, and you next to me. Hello, I got places to be. Hello, I got places to be.
Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com. Here's Officer Darren Hoskins for the Metro Nashville Police Department.
the Metro Nashville Police Department is on the forefront of policing in this century, and I'm glad I'm a part of it. I'm glad I get to find other good officers, other future good officers. And if you're watching today, or you yourself or someone you happen to know is interested, join MNPD.com. Feel free to reach out to us because we need good officers, and it's a great city to work for.
Has come from multiple different career paths and has always had this dream, and we're very glad to have him. That's just going to be the start of many.
If you want to be part of the Plaster Show advertising family, it's simple. Just email me, plastergeorge@gmail.com. Again, plastergeorge@gmail.com. We will fit your budget and your needs. Two total screw-ups of humongous proportions.
Sports. We're not living in an era where perfection is necessary.
They thought they were a championship contending team.
Here, we told you not to do this. Your sports live here.
On ESPN 94.9.
And the Game Nashville Sports Network.
It's the George Plaster Show.
Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
We are back, and we're going to take a look at what we're going to call the good and the bad of what came out of Friday night in the win in Atlanta. And by the way, I think most of us by now know the wins and the losses, even though we react stronger to the losses, don't really tell you a whole lot. Kelly, it's becoming obvious to me that Cedric Gray is starting to take a real run for the positive.
Yeah, he's pretty good, George. He's a guy that is one of those ball magnets. He intercepted a ball. I know they brought it back, but you just got guys. I had a guy on my team that was in Cleveland that wasn't very fast. He wasn't very big, but man, he always was a ball hawk. He was around the ball. He always got fumbles. He always intercepted balls, and that's kind of seems what Cedric Gray is doing. He's really making a kind of a name for himself, and I know he's battling, but right now you would have to give him the upper hand, I would think, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and it's one of the few battles where you got some quality because Williams Jr. has actually played
He's good too.
Well.
Yeah.
It'd be one of their few positions of strength. So let's get to Gunnar Helm, who's had a lot of pub going into training camp, but until Friday night, we had not heard a whole lot. 25-yard seam ball right down the middle from Brandon Allen to Gunnar Helm. And Kelly, that might be the most encouraging thing I got out of Friday night because let's face it, a year ago, their tight ends, basically Chig Okonkwo was go 4 yards, turn around, boom. And nothing where you challenge a defense at all. And to see Gunnar Helm go down that seam, there are a lot of teams in the NFL that have got tight ends that can do that. It hadn't been part of the Titans offense. And maybe he gives them that dimension.
I thought he played well the other night. I think he caught 4 balls. He caught that contested ball. That's what you want, guys. He's got a big body, and just listening to his interview, he said, that's kind of my thing. I go up and make contested catches, and that's what he did. There were 2 guys on him. It was a good throw by Brandon Allen, and he gave him an opportunity to go get the ball, and Gunnar Helm, he went up and got it, and there's been a lot of excitement about him because he did a lot of good things at Texas, and I think he showed something the other night when he got a chance to play. Now, I thought Okonkwo last year kind of showed that he could do. I played with guys that didn't have as much yak yards as he got last year, yards after catch. I thought he showed that he could do it. I don't think they ever used him before last year, and last year they weren't very good, as we know. But I think he did some. I thought he did some good things. But I think Gunnar Helm did some good things last night, and I think that obviously gives the organization some confidence that they might have made the right move, and the coaches some confidence to maybe give him some more reps.
The other one I probably should have put in the good was How do we say it?
Olu. Just call him Olu.
Yeah, I hate to.
What they call him?
Oluyemi or something?
The kid from Stanford.
Olafemi, Oladejo.
No. Ola Manor.
Oh, Io Manor.
Io Manor.
Io Manor, yeah.
Malik Io Manor, yeah.
It looks to me, Kelly, like he's starting to make a little bit of progress here.
And I know you're about to talk about Van Jefferson, but I think Terry hit the nail on the head when he talked about him. I think he had that long catch right at the beginning of the game, and he turned it into a 35-yard gain. He's got good hands. He's got good speed. That's obviously why they drafted him. But I think that they're hoping that he can step up and be a big contributor as a rookie.
So in the Van Jefferson category, and I'll admit I don't totally 100% agree with Terry on this. If Van Jefferson makes this team, Kelly, to me, it was predetermined all along because he has done nothing to get them excited.
Yeah, it's hard not to agree with you on that, George. It really isn't. He's had some experience in the National Football League. He had that deal the other night where he dropped the ball. And then I really think that the one that Brandon Allen threw to him, I think that was his fault. Just looking now, I don't know the route concept, but he threw it like it was going to be an in route. And I just remember my coach, I was thinking about this today, my coach, my quarterback coach in college would always say, when you're running in routes, well, nobody does this anymore, George, but when you're running in routes, you gotta be favorable to the quarterback. You either got to come straight down the line or slightly below parallel down the line. And, most guys nowadays, they round that thing, and I don't understand why coaches don't get on to them more, but they round those balls or they round those routes. And when you round a route, you allow a DB to cut in front. And that's exactly what happened. So me looking at that, I thought that was Van Jefferson's fault, but you're right. They brought him in, and I think they expected a little bit more from him. And I just hadn't seen it yet. I'm like you, George.
Yeah, that's one to pay attention to at cut down time. Run defense, not only do I think it's been a problem in preseason, Kelly, I don't see this getting a lot better.
Yeah, but George, I think you got to look at it because Jeffrey Simmons and T'Vondre Sweat did not play, and they're kind of the big run stoppers on the defense. You've got to have some guys in the up front there that can run, guard against the run, and they weren't playing the other night. They've had some big gashes. I agree with you. They've had some gashes the other night. They had a big long run, and then right up the middle, they had a touchdown scored on them. So the run defense was not good the other night, but you're missing two huge pieces in the defensive line, and I think that's where they're going to come in. They're going to contribute. I mean, Jeffrey Simmons he can get pressure on the quarterback, but he can also clog that middle, and you've got T'Vondre Sweat, who's a big young fella, and he takes two guys that are blocking him. So I just think those numbers are kind of skewed. I think the run defense is going to be okay, but we'll have to see. I don't know because you get nothing out of preseason. So we'll just have to see. Hopefully it's better when the regular season starts.
Interesting that the Falcons made the decision, no Michael Penix and no Kirk Cousins. They went with Easton Stick until about midway through the fourth quarter. I've seen Easton Stick before when he was with the Chargers. Kelly, he was awful on Friday night.
Yeah, you get an opportunity like that, and you got to play better. I remember having opportunities like that. Unfortunately, I did play good. So that when you've got guys that for one is the starter, Michael Penix, and then you got Kirk Cousins, who is going to be the backup, or he's going to get traded. Who knows? Because somebody might get in preseason, they might get into a vulnerable situation where something happens to their quarterback, and they got to go out and get somebody that's experienced, has played a bunch. But when you get an opportunity like Easton Stick, you can't throw a pick for six. Like he stared it down. You could watch. He stared it down, and when you double pump, you cannot go to the same guy if you double pumped it. You better look somewhere else because the guys in the National Football League are too quick. They're too fast. They cover guys too good. And when he did that, and he still threw it to the same guy after he stared him down, that's not good. So you feel for guys like that because I've been in situations like that, George. But when you get your opportunity, you have to produce. And if you don't, it's not good.
Well, Tyson Bagent produced. Is that how you pronounce his last name? Last night with the Bears? Tyson Bagent. I mean, he was balling out. I know it's a preseason game. I know the Bills
Bartenders.
Bartenders. But how much does that help a guy, Kelly, like a Bajan? I mean, we just talked about how, Easton Stick didn't offer much resistance. How much does preseason games help or hurt a backup quarterback?
They help a lot if you can go in there and play and they can get in there and they trust you. Now, everybody's going to say, well, you weren't playing against the starters. Well, I can't help it the starters didn't play. I can't help that. I got to go out and do what you've asked me to do. But the Padgett kid, he's been there for, I think this is his third year. I think he played at Shepherdsville, if I'm not mistaken, like a Division II or Division III. Yeah, team. So he's been there, and he's actually started games. So he's got some experience. He's obviously a talented kid because he's hung around a while. He's a big kid. I think he can move around. I think he can get outside the pocket. I think he can throw on the run. So I think, what you saw out of him is a lot of experience. But just what I said, when you're a kid like the Stick kid that has an opportunity like that to come in, the other two guys are not going to play, and you play that way, that's on you. That's your fault.
Well, here's what you get. And again, those of you who play this kind of stuff know it. When you get into NFL preseason, you've got to be able to predetermine who cares and who doesn't. For instance, Saturday, I got a chance to see the 49er game against the Raiders. And that's an old Bay Area rivalry that can be really nasty.
Yeah.
And they played it like it really mattered. I mean, it went right to the wire.
Yeah.
49ers kicked a 59-yard field goal at the buzzer to win 19-16. There was an intensity level to that game that was really good. And then you compare it with that garbage last night that Fox showed us, 38-0 Bears over Buffalo. I know I'm harping on it, but I honestly believe that game last night is what is going to start the ball rolling to whether it eliminates preseason or not. It's going to send the message when the networks start complaining and saying, we're paying you all this money for what looked like scab football last night. Because, Kelly, to be honest, it did look like scab football.
But I don't think you can. How can you ever not have a preseason game, though, George? I don't know how you go about it, and I don't know what the answer is because I know that the owners, they make a lot of money in preseason. So, they make a lot of money in the season too, but they're not having to pay players in the preseason right now. They only get a certain amount of money. So I don't know if you ever do away with preseason, but something's got to be done because it's not competitive at all.
Well, the NFL wants the 18th regular season game, and it feels a little bit like the SEC in the 9 conference games.
Yeah.
It's a matter of when, probably. The Players Association will cave because the NFL will throw money at them, and money in the end will always win. What the NFL has tried to get away from is Labor Day weekend Sunday games. Back when they played on Labor Day weekend, they found their ratings to go way down from the rest of the weeks because people use that as sort of the last travel date of the summer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they weren't sitting around watching football.
No. And yet I'm not sure I buy that because college football doesn't have any problem doing it. If the NFL were to go into August, I think they got to play a lot more night games if they're going to play regular season in August.
Yeah. Well, I'll be interested. South Carolina, Virginia Tech's a 2:00 game that Sunday.
Yeah, but it's in a dome.
That's correct. But in terms of the viewership, does that suffer due to the time of day as opposed to Labor Day night where you've got people that are out and about? I wonder because we haven't seen an afternoon. That could be a decent measuring stick.
Well, you got a bunch of them this weekend, and some of them are day games. But I know the NFL years ago made the decision to get out of Labor Day. They've got this awkward deal where, the games end next Saturday night. And then there's not another game played in the National Football League for 2 weeks in a day. It's kind of a weird deal.
Yeah.
It's this big hole, and college sort of steps in and takes it.
Well, I keep saying September 4th for Cowboys Eagles. That feels, I mean, that's a long way out.
That's a little ways away, yeah. 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
It's weird, but I haven't seen anything to prove it. But I got to believe that Fox was pissed off last night. It was scab football. It just simply was.
It wasn't good. It wasn't good. That's for sure.
Okay, we'll go to the break. Stat of the day is coming up, and then we'll talk with our man, Watson Brown. We'll get into all these quarterbacks that are making their debuts for big schools in about a week. This is 94.9, The Fan.
The wait is over. The largest sports book in Kentucky is now open at the Mint Gaming Hall, Kentucky Downs. Feel the rush of every play in a venue built for sports fans. Catch all your favorite games with an 80-foot screen, stadium-style seating, and live daily broadcasts from VSiN, the sports betting network. Plus, download the Circa Sports Kentucky mobile app today and start betting like a pro anywhere in Kentucky. The largest sports book in Kentucky, Circa Sports, is now open at the Mint Gaming Hall, Kentucky Downs.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
How are the Cincinnati Bengals wasting Joe Burrow? The Cincinnati Bengals are doing exactly what Joe Burrow wants them to do. You know how I know that? Because Joe Burrow told us what he wanted them to do earlier this offseason, and they capitulated to almost all of the things that he, quote-unquote, demanded. How are they wasting his talent?
Unsportsmanlike. Weekday mornings starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
Now, here's your latest Fox 17 Code Red weather report.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Greg Bobus. Our forecast this afternoon, up near 100 degrees. Feels like temperatures between 105 and 110. A mainly sunny day ahead of us and one more day of heat, really similar for your Tuesday.
Your sports live here on the Game Nashville Sports Network. Start your engines. Nashville's biggest racing weekend is back. It's the Porchetta Bourbon Music City Grand Prix, August 30th and 31st at Nashville Super Speedway. The speed, the sound, the stars of open wheel racing are all going full throttle. And you can catch every second of the action right here on 102.5 The Game. Brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Racing takes over Music City. Don't miss a lap. Your sports live here on 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville Sports Network.
Your sports live here. WBUZ HD3 Laverne. All around the world on the Game Nashville app. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network. ESPN 94.9. The Fan.
It's the George Plaster Show.
Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Talking to Coach Watson Brown coming up, but first, stat of the day brought to you by Apple Collision Centers. You can find them in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin, right here in Old Hickory. Give them a call, 615-754-9800, or log on to their website. That's applecollisioncenters.com. All right, we're going baseball today. Cal Raleigh has 47 homers, the second most in a season from a catcher in MLB history. Who's number one?
You know, Kelly, the obvious would be Johnny Bench, but I don't think Johnny Bench ever got to 47.
Did Pudge Rodriguez get there?
I don't think so.
What about Carlton Fisk?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think so. I mean, ultimately, I think I got to go Johnny Bench, but I'm trying to think of, has a catcher had that big a breakout a year? I'm going to say it's Johnny Bench, but I don't feel very good about it. Show me Johnny Bench.
Well, it's actually a lot more recent than that. Salvador Perez.
Wow. That's right.
In 2021, he hit 48 homers.
Wow.
And I didn't realize that either. Wow.
You put a fastball in his wheelhouse. He is a stud.
Is he still with the Royals?
Yes.
Okay.
He's a great question.
He's quieted down a little bit.
Yeah,
since that.
I mean,
it's hard to match that.
It's hard
that
to
season.
match. 48's a bunch.
Yeah.
Okay. Officially, we are into the 4:00 hour. And with that in mind, we say hello to the one and only Coach Watson Brown, who joins us from his palatial estate in Cookeville, Tennessee. Watson, how are you?
George, I'm hot, but I think y'all are hotter than we are. So I know you're going to stay in that air condition. There ain't no doubt about that.
No, we're outdoors.
Watson, you should have seen George. Thursday we had where were we? We were in Murfreesboro Thursday, and it was hot as can be. And then Friday we were in Green Hills outside again, and it was pretty unbearable. But it was funny watching George.
Well, yeah, because you had me in a seat in the sun while you were in the shade. So how do you think I was going to react?
It was just funny.
Yeah, that did not go over well at all. That should have gone.
That isn't the first time you heard that, is it, Billy?
No.
I bet he got on your case as soon as that show was over.
No, it was midway through.
In the moment.
It was in the moment.
So, it didn't take long, did it? But
no.
Watson, I got to play in a tournament today on one of your home courses, Old Hickory, which is beautiful. Oh man.
One of my all-time favorite places to play. Absolutely.
Where would you rate that? And I don't know if you've seen it in the last year. Immaculate.
Yes, it's immaculate. It's immaculate. No, I rate it easy in my top 10 of all places I've played. It's just I played it many, many years. Started back with Doug Jones back when I was an assistant at Vanderbilt, and been playing Old Hickory for many years. So I've seen it in all ways, and you can never see it like it is today. It's beautiful.
So I was teamed up with a former Vanderbilt basketball player, Scott McCabe, going back into the C.M. Newton era, and Todd Berry, who was the team manager, who got nicknamed Bear Man by Coach Newton. And it was just a rally cry, Bear Man.
They need a fifth player to play today?
Yeah, well, they should have. I actually played pretty good. Y'all can take all the cheap shots you want. I got the ball in the air most of the time.
What does pretty good mean for you, George? What does that mean?
One man's treasure is another man's trash.
That's a great answer right there.
That was.
That's getting out of that situation answer. So
sure was.
We ought to move on. And you got it off the ground because it's not going to roll very far out there on that plush grass.
No, actually, we had a couple of fairway woods that rolled beautifully that were not struck well. No, the course was in great shape. It was really a lot of fun. I only got to play 7-8 holes, but it was really fun. And
I'm sure they gave you a standing ovation when you left too. So
I think the course is in better shape. It's in better hands because I'm not out there. So
I'd say the groundskeeper was glad to see you go, brother. So, yes. That's right.
So on to the issues of the day. We're, in some cases 5 days away from season openers in week 0, and others we're a week and a half away. You ever seen more teams that you think are contenders that don't really have a clue what they've got at quarterback?
George, I think that's the times have created that. Every year's a different team. There's no more building a team. You've had a team for a couple of years. They're all seniors now. This is your year. All that stuff's gone. It's all year to year, so nobody knows. No scrimmaging, which there never has been against an opponent, against anybody else other than your own team. And then quarterbacks jumping everywhere. I mean, that's why I think the kid at Alabama is going to have a great year. And I hope he does, because some other QBs might see it and say, hey, man, he stayed around. He's learned systems. He's learned his second system now, and now he's getting a second year with it. And so I'm pulling for him. And, of course, I coached his dad, Jason, who's the head coach at UT Martin at Mississippi State. So I know, and I'm pulling for him for the reasons he hung around, because he's one of the very few. But that's why I think you're seeing everything up in the air. His quarterbacks they're gone in six months. Season's over, they're gone. If they're not the starter, they're gone. Even if they're the starter, they don't like the offense. We don't have enough good players around me. I'm not getting paid enough. So that's created this issue we have.
So what do you think Ty Simpson is?
I think he's a better athlete than you think. He can move around and make plays with his legs, and everybody thinks of him as a drop back passer. I'm betting, and I know they lost their tailback. I'm betting that they have a better offense this year than they had last. That's what I think about Alabama.
Okay, let's go to Georgia for a minute, because to me, the results were kind of don't really know. Gunnar Stockton played well enough for them to get by Texas after the injury in the first half to the starting quarterback. But then in the game against Notre Dame, didn't look like he brought a lot to the table. What do you think long-term about him?
Can't wait to see, because there's another one I'm pulling for, one that hung around a little bit. The players absolutely love, from everything I read, the respect he has within that football team. The head coach not running out and buying one to replace him. Again, I'm pulling for some old time stuff a little bit. So I'm pulling for Gunnar Stockton the same way. I'm going to bet he has a much better year than you think too. You hit on the two that I think are going to have really good years that I'm not hearing talk much about.
A third in all of this in the SEC is Jackson Arnold, who had some moments at Oklahoma where you said, aha, I see it. And then some moments where you were like, I don't know. How do you think he does at Auburn?
I sure wasn't impressed at Oklahoma. And I guess I was hoping that maybe the offense didn't fit him, but he hadn't just jumped out and had great scrimmages at Auburn yet either. Inconsistency has been his problem, George. I see ability. I'll see a great throw, and then I'll see a throw that he should have let go 2 seconds before he did, and stuff like that. So I just see an inconsistent player, and he's been around enough now that shouldn't be the case. Auburn is, and I think Auburn's got another good one behind him, so they're not dead in the water. But I'm anxious to watch him early in the year, because I think he could be on a shorter leash than people think. In my opinion, that if he doesn't get it done, I think they believe in the one that's behind him also.
So Watson, if Jackson Arnold is murky, and for the third year under Hugh Freeze, Auburn quarterback play is iffy, what does this do to him? Because they've brought him in believing that he's kind of a quarterback whisperer and that he's going to fix the offense. And if they get into a third year where it hadn't been fixed, then what?
Trouble in River City, as we used to say. You can draw all you want to do on a board. You better have a guy that can make the plays, and you better work everything around the guy that can make the plays. You better do the things he does best, not just what you want to do on offense. And I think he's just made a major mistake that he hadn't hit the right guy yet. And let's hope that the Oklahoma guy is the right guy. But I haven't seen it yet. I've watched that one close. I've been watching the scrimmages, not watching, but reading about them. And he's just been very average. Now they say the Auburn defense is going to be really good. But George, you're not going to move the football in today's game. You could in the 80s and the early 90s when you're running the wishbone or you're got I formation and handing it to the tailback, and your quarterback doesn't have to make but so many plays, a game. And now these offenses are quarterback oriented, and you got to score a lot more points than 20 points doesn't win anymore. So you got to score points, and your quarterback has got to be a bona fide football player, and Auburn has not had that. And I don't care how good Hughes' offense is, you got to have a trigger man, and that's the mistake he made. He just hadn't landed on one. I think the Auburn fans are hoping that the move to bring the Oklahoma kid in is it, and we're going to know here in a couple of weeks.
Okay, last thing for me, then I'll turn it to Kelly. So Tennessee makes the announcement that Aguilar is going to be the starting quarterback, which I think we all believed would happen. But Watson, the backdrop doesn't feel like Tennessee's just overconfident about this young guy. In fact, it doesn't seem like they're all that confident at all. And yet some of his best stuff was against your brother at North Carolina. What do you see in Aguilar?
I've listened to a lot of people. I watched some tape on him a little bit through my brother, watching my brother play and watching him play. What I see in him is a very competitive, takes on the big play when it's needed, very confident. You watch him play, he carries himself with a lot of confidence. And I'd watch him play when things weren't going good and they're behind. I watch him play when they're ahead. And very tough kid. Now, I'm telling you, he is a physically tough kid. And he makes a lot of plays that aren't on by design. He's also a little more of a gunslinger than people think. I think he likes to throw the deep ball. And they're probably, as I used to say, the guy's got that deep ball arm, wants to go there all the time. They were the toughest ones for me to coach, to get them to learn to take it down more than they would. And they'd always want to force everything. And sometimes the guys that had the average arm, but quick release, very accurate, were the easier ones for me to coach. So I think he'll have a good year. I also think it's been good for Tennessee that they haven't had all this wild patting on the back, All-American. Now it's kind of gotten quiet. Now let's let the guy play and not have all the same pressure. He's got pressure. You're a quarterback in the SEC. You're a quarterback at Tennessee. You got pressure. But it, to me, is not the same as the one they had. And I thought the one they had just never lived completely up to the expectations. And I'd always give him about a B. I never thought he just took the next step. I thought he struggled with sense of timing. And he would make that play when he could fake it, and it's the first guy. But anytime it was 1 to 2 to 3, I thought he struggled with that a little bit. And that's why I thought he'd get better, George, this year by hanging around and knowing the system better. And I thought this would be his year. And I think he made it hard on himself by leaving when you got to walk into a brand new offense and you struggle a little bit with sense of timing anyway. And so I guess I'm a little bit more that it's not as big an issue as a lot of people think. And Josh's offense is very quarterback friendly. Josh is not going to put a quarterback in a position of something that he can't do. I've watched him go through 2 different guys, and he's not going to do that. 3 different guys, excuse me. And he takes the heat off of them when he knows they're not good at something. He does not call it. So I think he'll start good, and if he stays healthy, and they can run the ball. Because if Josh can't run the ball, his offense struggles. Everybody thinks he's a pass guy. He's a run pass guy. All of his early down stuff is run if they're so many in the box, pass if there's so many in the box. And that's it. That's what he does. And so you have to run the ball well. If they don't, all of his quarterbacks have struggled in pure pass situations.
Kelly?
And you're absolutely correct, Watson, because here's the deal. And I told George and I told Bill and I told everybody that's out there listening. You talked about Nico a little bit, but here's the deal. In today's world, if Nico would have been the guy, I promise you they would have came up with the money. They would have kept him there. So Nico obviously wasn't the guy. So that was the decision that was made. They let him go. But, Nico was just not that guy, and I think they felt that, don't you?
Well, it looks it, Kelly. You never know what's behind the scenes, but it looks it. And I just, again, I'm going to say what I saw, and I just didn't see him live up to the expectations. If there weren't expectations, he's probably a good, solid player. But the expectations of being the best in the SEC, a Heisman candidate, I just did not see that. That's not sour grapes by me that he's left the SEC and gone west. That's I would have said that and did say it last year. And I thought, Kelly, that he would make a big jump. But, man, the stuff you read and, gosh, well, you got to get me better players. The last thing I want to hear a quarterback say publicly or even to me is, well, pat my chest here, I got to have better players around me. I don't want to hear that. I don't like that. I'm not saying it happened, but that's what we read. That's what was on the books is what was being said, which isn't always the case. But if that's the case, I'm going to tell you that would not have excited me as the head coach or the quarterback coach.
Coach, talk a little bit more, because you brought up something interesting, and I've always said this, but talk a little bit more about all these young guys transferring, especially QBs. They're transferring all over the country, and they're getting more money going places. But, how challenging is that? When I played football, I stayed in the same offense when I was in college. And when I was with Bruce Arians, I stayed in the same offense. You have to play years and years and years in the same system to try to learn it. And these young men are going in and they're moving every year. How hard is that? And just explain to people out there that are listening, because when you get this much transferring going on, you can't learn a system in a year.
No, you can learn it on a board in a year. You can sit down and say, okay, John, tell me what's your progression on so and so and so and so, and he'll go X to Z to A. But that ain't the same as doing it on the field and with bodies around you, and it's just not. And the timing, Kelly, you and I've even talked about this before. Passing the football is protection, timing, and spacing. And all that you can't get on a board. You've got to get on the field and know the protections so well that you can do them in your sleep and get it turned this way to this guy that's a great rusher, or to the blitz coming to this side. That is so much more of what a quarterback has to do than the fan knows, number one. And then the timing and spacing of throwing the ball is rep after rep after rep. And I know, Kelly, that there's guys that it's been great for quarterbacks that they can do this, because there's some that don't see a way that they're going to get to play. That's when it's fair to that guy. But when a guy leaves because I didn't get enough money, or I don't like what we're doing on offense, or I don't have good enough players around me, that one bothers me, man. We're not teaching, hey, here's what it is. We're not teaching life. Here's what it is. I got to deal with this and get this right. And the only way I'm going to deal with it and get it right is stay here and fight my butt off. And that's the guy I'm talking about more. But the opportunity for guys that there's a really good player in front of them and they're not going to get to play or whatever, man, this has been great for them.
Yeah, my last thing is we obviously have Tony Basilio on every Tuesday, and I got on to him the other day because and he's heard this, I guess, from inside the organization up at UT, but they talked about how good George McIntyre had done this offseason in the training camp. But they always talk about his weight. And I know times were different. I understand that, but I played Florida State when they were number one at 160. But if he's the guy and if he's better than everybody else, and I know he's a young guy, and I know they bring Joey Aguilar on, I understand that because they give him all the money. But is the weight issue in the SEC now a huge problem like that? Because if the kid, he's 6'6", and I know he looks like he looks like a string bean out there, and that's what I look like. But why aren't we worried about it's their job to protect him? Why are we worried about that? If he's the guy and he's playing better than everybody else, why not put him out there?
Well, it could be, Kelly, that they're buffering it. that they don't want to say he wasn't the best because they know how good he can be, and maybe he's not there yet, and which he shouldn't be there yet. If they're having to play a freshman that's gotten spring ball and that's it, and you're trying to get into the playoffs, it's hard to do that with a true freshman. And that might just be the buffer to say that. I've always thought the key is just it's not how much you weigh is in your playmaking. Sometimes if you're real thin and you're not going to be protected well enough, then I say it's what kind of offense do they run? Do they want this guy to carry the ball 10, 12 times a game? It's going to be hard for him to do that. If he's going to sit in the pocket and throw the ball with timing and rhythm and that's their style, then I don't think it's near as big an issue. So I think there's a little bit to it. But I think it's just a buffer that he's not hardly ready. They know how good he's going to be, which won't surprise me if he is. And I think that's just the way to say he just needs to get a little bigger and stronger yet.
Watson, you were talking about Jackson Arnold at Auburn and some of his expectations. Well, Oklahoma replaced him with John Mateer coming over from Washington State. They also bring in Mateer's offensive coordinator, Ben Arbuckle, as well. We hadn't seen a lot of that quarterback coordinator duo transferring to the same school. Obviously, Vanderbilt did it with Pavia and Tim Beck last year and a bunch of other New Mexico State guys. Do you think Mateer and Arbuckle there at Oklahoma can do some similar things to that Vanderbilt did, where they just sort of surprise some people and improve after last year?
Yes. In my personal opinion, when you're an Oklahoma, and I've been there and coached there, and the expectations are way up there, you can't just bring the quarterback and bring him in the summer or maybe spring, but a lot of them are even bringing them in the summer. I think Pavia came in the summer and didn't get spring ball his first year. Bring the coordinator with him if they were good, and they were good, or you wouldn't be after the quarterback. So I think that is a good way to do it when you have got to have it this year. So I personally think Oklahoma is a lot better off than they were a year ago. This guy, I've been told, is a very sharp, young offensive coach, has brought in a lot of swagger and confidence. Believe me, at Oklahoma, if you're down, man, you're getting it all through the state. You're getting it everywhere. And so the defense was pretty good. The offense has been bad. They're catching it all over the place. Bring in a quarterback and a coordinator that got a little swagger and bring that in with them. I think Oklahoma will be much improved if he stays healthy this year.
Watson, one thing I've noticed about week 0 is there's typically one good game. One game that everybody's looking forward to watch, and obviously it's Iowa State and Kansas State in Ireland, and that's got to be the earliest those two teams have met. And I know if you're one of those coaches, you would not like this. I mean, you probably wouldn't be a big fan of this schedule because this is a big rivalry. Farmageddon, you're playing it in week 0, and that's not easy. That's a fun trip for those players, but that's not easy for these coaching staffs.
No, that's a exposure money deal, and as a coach, you don't care for it a lick because you're trying to win games, and you do not want to be playing one of your rivals in 0 week. Nobody is. If anybody's any good, they're much better by about game 6 than they are game 0. I don't care how many you got back. You're going to be pretty good by game 6. If you're not pretty good by around game 6, look out. I don't know if you're going to get there. But everybody's going to be better in mid-season than they are then. And I absolutely would not want to play, number one, a conference game in week 0. Because you can if you don't win the game, you're behind the 8 ball already, starting out the gate. And number 2, with it being a rival, that's another reason, man. You want to be at your best. Let them be at their best instead of going out there and who lucked out and stayed the healthiest through the preseason. Who's got the most players coming back that might be a little bit better than the other one. There's too many factors in those first games. And in this crazy business we're in, you don't even know how good you are. You've been lining up playing your own selves. You just don't know. And you sure don't know in today's game when you're bringing in average and bringing in about 30 to 40 new faces every year that are not sitting redshirted, that are major players that you brought in that got to play. So, no, I promise you, these two coaches threw up when they were told that.
So, Watson, let's close this out. Let's put you on the spot. Texas or Ohio State?
Man, I don't have one. Two brand new quarterbacks, all the hype on Arch. Man, I think he can handle it. I do. I think he's a confident kid, and he comes from a family of confidence. I know the family very well, and he comes from a family of confidence. So it's rubbed off on him all of his life. The only reason I'm not picking Ohio State is quarterback, just yet. If they had a returner, I'd say Ohio State all the way. I think it's toss up, and is going to be a great football game. And I'm just anxious to watch the hype of Arch and the new guy at Ohio State, because there's probably more pressure on the new guy at Ohio State than there is on Arch, if you really want to know the truth. I've lived in that state too, and I understand that, man. That's a lot more than's been talked about. Is the quarterback at Ohio State, he goes out and lays an egg. That ain't a good thing.
You're right about that. Clemson, LSU.
Clemson.
Wow.
I think Clemson wins. It's in Death Valley. Oh, well, there's two Death Valleys, isn't it? It's at Clemson, correct?
This is This is Death Valley Light.
This is at Clemson. I'm going Clemson. LSU has not had a good track record in the early games. Quarterbacks had some injury and missed practices. I'm going Clemson.
By the way, Coach, last week we were told that LSU, it's now 5 straight years they've started away from home in the season.
Oh, that's on them. Why in the world would you do that?
When you got a 100,000-seat stadium.
Come on, athletic directors. My gracious alive, help your team a little bit, man. I mean,
Okay.
play somebody else instead of a big one at home and get you one under your belt first before you do that. And away at that, not even playing one at home out of the 5, that's crazy. That's not fair to the football coach in the program. That's crazy stuff.
Catholics or convicts?
Woo! I'm going Catholics. I haven't studied those two enough yet. I just don't know enough about that, but I'm going Catholics.
Okay.
There we go.
Lord, hear our prayer.
Yes, sir.
Coach, thank you as always.
Guys, it's always an honor. Good to talk to you.
Watson,
Hope
same
everything's
here.
good in Valdosta, Kelly.
What did he say?
I said, hope everything's good down South Georgia.
Yeah, it is, man. Yeah, everything's good, man. He's doing well, and we're down. They play at Legion Field in Birmingham next in 2 weeks, so 2
that's
Saturdays.
neat.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's
That is
everything's
really
going
neat.
good.
George, can I tell a quick Legion Field story?
Yeah, but hold on a second. Are you playing UAB?
No,
Huh?
no.
No,
They're playing a
No,
classic
they're
down
playing
there
the
in
Legion
Clark.
Field. UJB plays in the
Let's hear.
Legion Field. I was my first year at UAB. I'll tell it real quick. My first year at UAB, and we had nobody on scholarship, so we just started. And we're playing later in the year, and I think it was Charleston Southern. It may be who Vanderbilt's playing. May have been who we were playing, and it was raining like cats and dogs, and there probably wasn't 15 people in the stands. And we're at Legion Field, and we win the game. And so I'm doing a little interview right outside the locker room in the rain, believe it or not, with an umbrella. And I look out, and there's a guy standing over there on the sidelines after the game, and it was the head coach at Charleston Southern. And so I walked over to him, said, "Everything okay?" or whatever. And he said, "Yeah, I just wanted to stand where Coach Bryant stood all those years."
Oh, wow.
And how about, isn't that neat? Isn't that neat?
It's
So
where
he's back out there standing on. We were on the opposite side of where he didn't realize he'd already standing where he was, but he wanted to stand where Coach Bryant stood all those years, and what Legion Field meant nationally to people. So that was pretty neat to me.
it's where Southern college football became great.
You got it right. The Southeast football started right there in Birmingham, Alabama, if you ask me. I'll agree with that 100%.
Bingo. Coach, talk soon.
Talk. Enjoyed it, guys.
Us too. Thank you. Okay, that is the great Watson Brown joining us on the show. We're going to open up the phone lines now, and we're either, depending on what game you care about, 5 days away or a week and 5 days, essentially from the start of college football season. So I know you're fired up. I know that you are a red-blooded American who loves college football and probably hates the NIL and transfer portal. I get it. But in spite of everything, we still love it on Saturday. I want to hear some of your thoughts from the college game, and I guess for that matter, the pro game as well. I want to hear from you now. Red-blooded Americans who love some football. 615. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on a second.
Yeah, we got a new number.
Oh, hold on a minute.
And this is on me for not
we
switching
don't have this
on the YouTube screen. So ignore what's on the YouTube screen and listen to George for the new number.
Okay. Brand new number. 615. Okay, that seems fairly obvious. 759 9949. Again, 615 759 9949.
And I'll make that change on the podcast.
That'll be big. Let me do this one more time because I want some phone calls. 615 759 9949. Hit the phones. Let's talk some football next on 94.9 The Fan.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
A golf cart from Mikey's Motors is the perfect way to get around this summer. Whether you're going to the park, the pool, or the playground, do it in a brand new golf cart from Mikey's Motors, Franklin and Murfreesboro.
Summertime fun in Tennessee. That's what we sell at Mikey's Motors. Come see how we roll.
It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun.
Convenience and value, two words that we expect when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to deliver just that, both to our school partners and to our customers. Whether you're purchasing photos, yearbooks, class jewelry, letter jackets, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience easy, convenient, and cost-effective. Find out more at jhacompany.com or call 615-867-6345 for more information. JHA, one source, one company.
If you are paying too much for your health insurance, you know what? You need to contact the folks at Pancoast Benefits. Pancoast works with businesses and individuals to tackle the high cost of health insurance. Whether you're a business owner, large or small, self-employed, between jobs, or over the age of 65 and in need of a Medicare plan, Pancoast can help. They make understanding your benefits less difficult and more personal. So check them out today, pancoastbenefits.com, or call them at 888-292-3400. Are you looking for expert medical care in Nashville without leaving your home? Medical House Calls brings concierge-level health care directly to your door. Whether you need urgent attention, ongoing primary care, revitalizing IV therapy, or medically guided weight loss, our experienced providers are just a phone call away at 615-838-2375 or go online, medicalhousecalls.com. Okay, I'll admit I don't really know what to tell some of you right now because I have one caller who has told me that he's getting a voicemail message. I've got another saying the call isn't going through. I've got Eric who apparently has gotten through, and I don't get it. I don't really know what to tell you other than try this again and let's see what happens. And for that matter, several of you try this for me. Do me a favor here and let me know what happens at 615-759-9949. Again, 759-9949. It doesn't sound like we've got the kinks knocked out of it. And I don't really know what to say. I've got another caller saying still getting a voicemail. So I don't really know what the hell to tell you. Eric on line one, how did you get through?
George, can you hear me?
Yeah, how'd you get through?
Well, I didn't hear you say it was a new number, so I called the old number. I was getting business signals. I kept calling, and then I finally got through, so I'm on the old number.
So you called the old number and got through, and I'm sitting here telling people to call the new number, and they're not getting through.
I don't know what to tell you. Like I said, when I called a couple of times, it went to business signal, and the thing was, I didn't know you changed it to a new number. Then I called, and somebody got through, and I told him, and he told me when I was talking to him off air, he says, well, we changed the number. I said, well, I got through on the old number. So.
Okay, so the old number is still the number you call, 615-553-0933. We'll keep you guys updated if that changes.
Yeah, so,
on your mind.
Okay, George, a couple of things. First of all, I was glad the Reds won yesterday to avoid being swept. The thing is now that the Brewers have beaten the Reds 13 straight series. That's so frustrating. It's just like, and I was going 40 series without being swept. But I told you this team is our kryptonite, and we should have won both Friday and Saturday. Blew an 8-1 lead on Friday night, lost 10-8, and then yesterday should have won 2-1 in 9 innings. But Elizabeth Cruz had an error. It was 2 outs, but they could have ended the game. And the Brewers scored a run, tied it, and Brewers wound up winning 6-5 in extra innings. It's just so frustrating against that team. And they won today over the Cubs 7-0 in the first game of the doubleheader. So now they've won 15 out of the last 16. It's just insane how this team is playing.
Well, first of all, this is not exactly a this just in. The Brew Crew are going to win their division. Now the question is, are they going to have the best record in the National League? And right now, by a pretty good, hefty little margin, the answer is yes. And I'll admit, I haven't totally believed in Milwaukee. But you know what? They're shoving it down everybody's throat. I don't know what you can think anymore.
Yeah. It's just that this team doesn't have a lot of big name players, but they're getting it done. And you just wonder if they run out of gas by the time playoffs come. We'll see. Joyce, there's one other thing I wanted to tell you, and then I'll get off. And that's something I thought you'd be interested in today that I saw. Guess who was on Golick and Golick today?
Golick.
No, Vanderbilt coach Clark Lee, and he talked about the program. He talked about the Netflix documentary, saying that he was a little bit apprehensive when the Netflix documentary people were there but he said he thoroughly enjoyed it and thought it gave an accurate representation of the program. He talked about the fact he had been there 4 years and just, 4 years where nobody expected a lot from the program, and just coming in his fifth year, the way they played last year, just renewed excitement and stuff about the program and just about the way they played. He also talked about, of course, the big win over over Alabama. But he's talking about the fact that just trying to be more consistent, the fact that, of course, they beat Alabama, then lose to Georgia State, and hopefully they get more consistency with the program. The NIL and the transfer portal also building up the offensive line and what they've done with the running game, hopefully taking the pressure off of Pavia. And he talked about the relationship that Pavia had with the program and just the excitement and stuff that he's brought to the program. And he also talked about the fact that his dad sent him a picture. Clark Lee's dad sent a picture because he was, of course, talking about Clark Lee was talking about his mom, the fact that she had a stroke back in, I guess it was 2009, and how the left side, she was having some issues. But he also talked about a picture that Pavia took with Clark Lee's mom and stuff like that, and just how it touched him that the dad sent and everything like that. So, and there's probably some other things I left out, but basically that was just talking about the program and just his thoughts about the Vanderbilt program, and just thought I'd share that with you, that you might be interested in that.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I did not know he was on there.
Yeah. Well, George, I'll get off and let you get some other callers. Hopefully you'll have better luck just with the situation with the phones. Guys, y'all take care, and we'll talk again soon.
Okay, thank you, Eric. By the way, I didn't realize the margin was this large. Milwaukee, and I'm assuming this is including their game one win, 79-45. So they are 34 over 500. Jeez. The Dodgers and the Phillies are tied for the second best record. They're only 18 above 500. So Milwaukee at the moment has an 8-game lead over both of them for the best record in the National League. Brew Crew, baby. Pogies
crew is rolling.
They're living in slop right now. They're pretty happy.
Also, again, to clarify, the new number will be set up tomorrow after some behind-the-scenes conversations. New number tomorrow. For right now, still the same number we've been using. So 615-553-0933.
Yeah, I don't pretend to understand all the issues. So let's go to Tony in Nolensville. Tony, welcome.
Good afternoon, guys. And it's always tough to change numbers like that. But George put it this way. This little problem with these phones right now, and it seems y'all got it worked out, it can't touch the Cubs batting slump.
Thanks for sharing that.
I've watched the first game today. Guys, it was just a debacle. I mean, credit to Milwaukee. They are solid in every phase of the game right now, George. Every phase. But the Cubs, they can't hit their way. They couldn't. Kelly put it this way. Remember those saying they couldn't hit a beach ball? That's what it looks like today. At least their call-up, Cassie, he got his first MLB hit, so I was happy for him in doing that. So, guys, y'all were talking about earlier. I was going to talk to you today, and y'all brought it up a little bit, Billy. Scotty Scheffler. What he is doing is unbelievable. But, Billy, I know you watched it yesterday. That chip, he made them 17. George was 27 yards. It was an 81-foot, 11-inch chip. And he buried it.
Yeah, that was unbelievable.
It was. And this is the first time I saw this on the Golf Channel. This is the first time since Tiger Woods in 06 and 07 that a PGA player, and we've seen some good ones, we all know that a PGA player has won 5 or more tournaments in back-to-back seasons.
Yep.
That's pretty strong.
He's unbelievable, dude.
So,
I'm not sure I've ever seen. I'm not sure I've ever seen a guy with a swing like that. Like he comes straight back and straight through. So that's why he's so consistent. Because most guys have to time it up. And Tiger, it would have been so fun to see Tiger Woods in his heyday and to see Scotty Scheffler right now. I would love to have seen them face off.
I'd like to see them go head-to-head like that. And, of course, with AI, Kelly, they'll be able to put it together some way or another. But
That's right.
But I would love to see that. And, it's just be phenomenal to see these guys to play at the peak of their game against each other like that. Going down another avenue, y'all were talking earlier about schedules and what's going on. I don't know if y'all have looked at it, but I looked at Missouri's schedule this weekend. They played 5 straight home games and then a bye, and then Alabama at home. They play 6 straight home games before they even go on the road. I mean, that is and they've only got 4 SEC games that are on the road. We all know they've got to have those 4, and 3 of those 4 are winnable. I mean, you're talking about having a schedule made out for you and served for you on a platter. You've got it. They've got Alabama in Missouri. So,
wow.
Yeah, some of these schedules are made out is just, you just wonder how you see some schools with only 6 games at home and that type of thing. And, when the NCAA implements ways and these bowl people with ESPN, George, you can see it right now coming. If Tennessee don't make the playoffs and UCLA can make a bowl game, don't y'all see them putting Nico with UCLA going against UT in a bowl game?
That'd be awesome.
Oh, man. Listen to you. I love it. Hey, I got to run.
I didn't see that coming. So, it's just a matter of time before something like that happens. So,
that's
guys, I'm going to let y'all go. Thought glad things are working out. I think everybody will be able to call in. And, Kelly, one last thing I wanted to ask you. Been wanting to ask you sometime. When you were going to practice and stuff, and I've been through Coach Donnelly's and stuff, did they ever use the cow clock on you?
I don't remember that, Tony. I really don't.
Well, the cow clocks when they go out into the pasture and they would gather up horse manure or, and they'd put chips between the numbers on the clock. And that way you always knew when it was 12:30 and 1:30 and 2:30. And the chips would always, they used that on us one day.
You need to stop that, Tony.
That's the way we were playing. That's the way we were practicing.
Tony, I got to get to a break. That's a smelly.
I don't know that one, guys. See ya.
We're back with more of your phone calls in just a moment.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back in Hit City for the 2025 season. Create a summer of memories at the ballpark with weekly giveaways, fireworks shows, and more. Tickets are on sale now.
Hello, I got places to be. Like me next to you, and you next to me, and you next to me, and you next to me, and you next to me. Hello, I got places to be.
Here's Officer Darren Hoskins for the Metro Nashville Police Department.
the Metro Nashville Police Department is on the forefront of policing in this century, and I'm glad I'm a part of it. I'm glad I get to find other good officers, other future good officers. And if you're watching today, or you yourself or someone you happen to know is interested, join mnpd.com. Feel free to reach out to us because we need good officers, and it's a great city to work for.
Star Physical Therapy was established in 1997 with one great mission: to serve. If you're hurting, don't wait to receive physical therapy. You don't need a referral to see their physical therapist, and early morning and evening appointments are available. Make the call to 615-673-1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday. Right to the phones, got several of you. I'm going to try and get to all of you. Tyron and Brentwood, give me a couple of minutes if you can.
Yes, sir. Good to be with all you guys again. Just a couple of things. Number one, I tell you right now, George, the week you come back from Labor Day weekend, your league, when you come back from that Labor Day weekend, your first show, here's what your league going to be. What the hell is wrong with the SEC? Because I think they're going to take it on the chin week one, my friend. I think I'm going to clean LSU's clock. I think Ohio State's going to pop young Archie's man virginity. And I also believe for his Alabama, and I think where the running back's probably going to be out against Florida State. And with Gus Malzahn being the offensive coordinator, I think Florida State's going to beat Alabama. So there's your, right out the gate, three, perennial SEC powers that's going to go down week one. And number two, real quick, I've been watching a lot of these SEC Saturday South the last couple of weeks. I'm just going to say this, and I know no one cares, but I'm going to tell you, Nick Saban's not better than Bear Bryant, people. We need to pump the brakes on that. Let me say it one more time. Nick Saban is not better than Paul Bear Bryant. You be well, George Kelly. Take care, my friend.
Anybody disagree?
I would beg to differ.
I think it's a lot harder in the Nick Saban era than it was in the Bear Bryant era.
Yeah, I'm not.
He had to win more games.
Yeah. Nick Saban's the greatest to ever do it.
He didn't wear as good a hat.
No, that's right.
Dave in Nashville, give me a couple of minutes if you can.
Hey, Mr. Plaster, how many schools are in the SEC?
Last I checked, right now there's 16.
Okay. When the football season starts, which of these schools do not sell out when they play at home?
Okay. In a lot of cases, Vandy doesn't. Mississippi State, because they've been down for a couple of years, doesn't.
Missouri's got Central Arkansas.
Yeah, that's possible. I mean, tell me where you're going with that.
I was just wondering how the attendance of the schools have been over the years.
Well, Tennessee has sold out for what, almost 20 years straight, something like that now. So they don't have any issues. Obviously, Alabama doesn't have any issues.
Georgia certainly doesn't. Texas doesn't appear to.
LSU.
But, your Mississippi States, Kentucky's, Vandy's, Arkansas's had some attendance issues at times of late.
That's probably a fair assessment of it.
All right. Appreciate it.
Dave, thank you. Frank in Smyrna, give me a couple of minutes if you can.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. George Tony was talking about, and as well as Eric, about the Milwaukee Brewers. And you know what, a lifelong diehard just can't turn my head away from the Atlanta Braves this year fan I am. So I ventured to Atlanta a couple of weeks ago and saw the Brewers, and I will tell you what, I got to agree with Tony. Those guys are a real deal. That they are a serious threat to get to the World Series, in my opinion. They cleaned the Braves clock for 3 nights. The Braves never led in any of those games. Their pitching is just that's a serious World Series contender, in my opinion. That's where I'm going with that. And George, in case you haven't noticed, the Braves have won 5 in a row at 9 out of 11. That's called a winning streak.
Yeah, it's also where the hell was this when it mattered?
Well, exactly. That's exactly what I was getting ready to say. Where's this been all year when it really mattered? Michael Harris, where was this in the first half of the season? I mean, just finish the season on a respectable note. That's where I'm at with the Braves, and I'm glad they're playing well. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's nice to see. It's just about 2 or 3 months too late, and it might have. Well, anyway, and real quick with Vanderbilt football, I got to looking at their schedule the other day, just really for the first time, and I really think looking at those first 5 games or so, that they have got to win their home games, and they have to win at Virginia Tech or South Carolina. Would you say that in order to have a winning season, that's the case?
Yeah, I would. I mean, I don't have it in front of me, but they open with Charleston Southern. That has to be a win.
At Virginia Tech.
Keep going.
At South Carolina.
Okay. Utah State, and then Georgia State. Yeah, I mean, look, they had better be 3-2 coming out of those 5. Yeah. They would love to be 4-1, and to be 4-1, they'd have to win one of those road games. Won't be easy.
No, honestly, I think it's more likely. I mean, this may be crazy for me to say. I think it's more likely they win in Blacksburg, Virginia, than Columbia, South Carolina. For whatever reason, I think it's been since Jay Cutler was at Vandy. So it was the last time Vandy went to Columbia won. It's not been in any recent years that I can recall. So I think they may have a better shot at Virginia Tech. But I say that because I don't know what Virginia Tech has coming back this year, from last year's team. And plus they've seen Diego Pavia. So,
oh yeah,
that's just that's just like I say, it's getting to be football season, and I was just taking a look at the upcoming schedule for Vandy, and I'd take 6-6 and it's at a bowl game, and I'd be happy. I really would. That's a tough schedule, especially in October. Wow.
Hey, got to run.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Say this though: when does Vandy not have a tough schedule? I mean, we say that about them every year. Have you thought about that? Like Vandy, and I don't know if it's their perception.
Vandy never gets to play Vandy.
Exactly.
That's one of the things in the SEC.
And I'm not ripping on Frank. I'm saying a lot of people when they're asked about Vandy or when they start talking about Vandy, but that schedule, it's so tough. It's every year. It's like that every single year. So that's not something new that we're all of a sudden talking about and learning about.
Hopefully we got time to go to a quick break, and then Plaster Bet of the Day will have 3 pieces. 94.9 The Fan.
Hey guys, it's Mike Newton Ford South. You know about our Lake Day giveaway, right? Well, did you know we have a second giveaway for every person who buys a new vehicle from us? It's our free lifetime warranty. That's right. It covers your engine and transmission for as long as you own your car at absolutely no cost to you. It's the ultimate peace of mind. This month, get a chance to win kayaks and get a warranty for life. That's how we help you change your experience. Come see us today or shop online with Newton FastPass.
Every child deserves to start the school year with confidence. For over 5,000 kids in Middle Tennessee, that's not always possible. A donation of just $20 provides a new pair of athletic shoes, giving a child one less thing to worry about. That's Souls for the 615, brought to you by Cromwell Media and Souls for Souls. We've teamed up to make sure every child in our community steps into the year ready, and we need your help. Head to thegamenashville.com/shoes and donate today, because every child deserves to walk into school with pride.
It's the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Final segment, time now for Bet of the Day, brought to you by Bart Durham Injury Law. We take a look at what happened. This was last night. George took the Bills plus 2.5, and that didn't work out.
No, it didn't.
That's why he's so pissed off today.
Shut up, Kelly.
Talking about Fox is pissed off. Everybody's mad. That's why he's mad.
George is mad. Okay, so we got 3 plays tonight. We're taking the Redskins in the pro football game +3 against Cincinnati. We're taking the Red Sox, who have been on fire recently at home, very cheap price against Baltimore. And then we're taking San Diego, who had their clock cleaned out by the Dodgers over the weekend. They tuck tail, go home, take on the Giants, who have been in an awful slump. We're going to get 2 of the 3, I promise. Got that, Kelly?
Okay, George, it's not the Redskins anymore. It's the Commanders.
Yeah, I know it. I know. My bad. We're out of here. Tony Basilio tomorrow. Thanks to the folks at Old Hickory Country Club. Your golf course is beautiful. Great hospitality. See you tomorrow on 94.9 The Fan.